Field Report, Southern Iberian Air Zone, February 1937. Podpraporshchik Ivanov, 2nd Fighter Division. The morale of our group is at an all-time low. In the current operation, we have lost 30 aircraft in the last 3 weeks alone, and not a single kill to show for ourselves. Most of our planes are I-15s from the last Weltkrieg and I-16s. Every morning, we draw straws on who has to go up in the biplanes. It's basically a death sentence. All you can do is hope that you're not running into a German. The I-16s might look a bit more modern, but your chances for survival aren't actually much better. Their Bf-109s are faster, more agile, have a better climb rate and a better turn radius, and are significantly better armed. Even if we manage to get into a favorable position by skill alone, a few hits from the 762s won't do much, whereas in return, a single well-aimed salvo from one of them instantly spells your doom. Every morning we pray, and we pray that if we encounter a German, that their salvo takes us out right away, so we don't have to die in agony going down in a burning ball of fire. The first batch of I-180s has arrived last Monday, and the mechanics are still checking them over. They do look a lot more capable, but we'll have to see them in the sky. Who knows, maybe we'll end up scoring our first victory in one of those. Field Report, Capitan Orlov, 8 kilometers south of Murcia. The Spanish troops are an unorganized lot, motivated but with little experience of discipline. The French are even worse. They will not move their tanks a meter unless they receive exact instructions from the higher echelon on how far and in which direction. The German troops we encountered, on the other hand, are of a different quality altogether. They do not budge under fire, and their tactical flexibility surprised even us. They adapt quickly and improvise where needed. We've been assaulting the same position for weeks now, with no discernible progress. The infantry can't take our tanks head-on. A small arms fire can't penetrate the plating. Yet instead, they get creative. They've used field guns from prepared positions in the hills, and if we're not careful, small assault teams will let the tanks pass, only to then disable the trucks with grenades. We had to adopt our doctrine accordingly, to only allow assaults with infantry support, which in return negates much of the speed and mobility that has made our tanks so dangerous in the past. Truly, the Germans are a formidable enemy and must not be underestimated. The war in Spain is going reasonably well, despite our 2 tank divisions not having the biggest impact, and our Air Force definitely not, because the Bf-109s that are flying there are definitely a problem. As you can see, we have not shot a single one down, but we have lost already 33 fighters and 2 bombers of our own. But slowly the I-180s are trickling in, so that's a good thing. Bulgaria, with the support of the Ottoman Empire, the Austrians and Germany, so the old Axis powers, is very strongly pushing back at this point. So we're sending 2 more divisions, one to Greece and one to Romania in the north, and we will see if we can turn the tide still. We do have 1 mountain division that is currently in Pristina, and we will see if we can maybe launch a counterattack into Skopje over there. That would be to take the supply hub. That would be a good, despite the fact that we're not actually having any supply lines, but it would be a good push forward. And but we'll have to see how that ends up turning out, and we will see if we can do more. So we're sending 1 mountaineer division to Greece and 1 tank division to Romania. On the home front, the activity of the Union to revive the Republic is actually getting reasonably well delayed at this point. We're running another press censorship campaign, which is going to increase our stability and which is going to add another 60 days. So hopefully we can keep that in check, which means that while we're working on the stability, because I don't see us getting here that easily. Instead, the coalition of idealists with 50% stability seems to be the more attainable at this point. We will see. We are getting 5%. And 10% actually out of the one that's about to finish. So let's see if we can reach 50% stability, and we can also go through some of the economic focuses, because one of the concerns that I'm having at this point is that we're not getting anywhere with the factory count. Our construction is still severely hampered, and a large part of that is the civilian economy, but also the large amount of civilian factories. So we've got a 35% civilian factory count. So if we can reduce that, then that'll free up more factories for construction. So that'd be a good one. And obviously getting off civilian economy would be important into early mobilization. The problem is we would need 15% war support, which we're currently not having. So that's another goal to work towards. But I think we can try to do a few more economic focuses next. This is all market liberalism, but you could probably take the new Russian capitalism, which gives me minus 15% consumer goods factories, because I don't see us getting to 150 political power anytime soon. This would also be pretty good, but we need 30% cadet support, and we currently have 29%. So that's relatively close. So we could also do one of these, which then allows us to address the people, which would then also reduce the anger and get us more stability. All kinds of good stuff that we can do here. So I think that's going to be a little bit more of a focus. And we do have to get the Third Europe decisions underway as well at some point, because there is actually a sponsor Belgrade decision that we could use to increase the limit of volunteer forces. So we could send additional volunteers over. So that would be useful as well, given the current situation there. And more importantly, it leads towards the ending of the Vilnius Agreement, which allows us to start getting off the German capital stranglehold, which has also some factors of which have stability in them. So economy needs to be more of the focus now that the overall anger has been somewhat quelled and we're not in direct threat of the government being overthrown anymore. But for starters, we are pushing south, and we're engaging the 113th Infantry Division, which is not able to penetrate, or mostly unable to penetrate, the armor of our tanks. And we will see, that's finished, and volunteers on the way. We will see if we can manage to break through here and encircle some Spanish divisions, retake Cartagena, and stabilize the southern flank, and then just basically roll it over. Interestingly enough, Madrid's still holding, because that's probably why that's because the Germans are there. And if the French would find it within them to actually do something, then that would be much appreciated. We do have some Chilean troops here as well as British and Indian troops. So the whole of the, I'm assuming Chile is syndicalist, so that's why they have sent assistance to Spain as well. All right, so that's completed. So stability up to 36%, which is great, which means we can now, and I think I'm going to do next is the, and we've replaced the strengthening democracy with the stable democracy. So we now have, the other way around. Was it? Replace strengthening with stable democracy. We don't have stable democracy. Okay. Or maybe that's an incremental thing, which would then, no, that's the imperial. Anyway, we have strengthening democracy, which gives me 5% political power gain, which is always nice. So anger is relatively low. We still need to get rid of this, and probably that would be one, but that wouldn't get us to the war support that we need, because that would only get us to low imperial popularity. I think I'm going to go for the new Russian capitalism first, in order to simply work towards the economy a bit more. 15% consumer goods factories and 5% construction speed I think is a really good one to shove in here in the middle. Okay, let's get back to the assault in Spain, and we're We do have to keep an eye on the Pristina situation, although we are, I think, engaged in the defense here. This is an offensive. It's not an offensive battle. There we are. Yeah, we are engaged in the defense here. Still suffering a little bit from low supplies, and the firepower is a bit of a problem in general. Is that an issue? We don't have a line artillery, so the actual soft attack on this division is reasonably low, but don't want to start messing with that right now. Anyway, we'll deal with that when we get to it. For now, our focus is on the Spanish front, where we are trying to break through that. Look at these values. Let's see if we can break through that German division. The only saving grace is that they don't have anything to penetrate the tank's armor. Otherwise, they are well entrenched and they know what they're doing. And our bombers are probably mostly interesting. We've got some air support. It looks like the French or the British have sent their air force in as well. Nice. So maybe our bombers are now actually getting through, but we're not really getting much done. However, that is good to see that the rest of them is joining us now as well, and hopefully that'll help a little bit with our beleaguered fighters in the air zone. Slowly we're managing to push the Germans out of the hills here, and once we have the momentum, I think we can actually hopefully manage to cut off and secure the area. Mongolia has declared war on the Marklik. There are a lot of civil wars going on in Central Asia. At some point we might have to get involved there, but we will see how it turns out. For now, the attack against Pristina has ended, but unfortunately there are two German divisions in Skopje. There's no way we can push through that. What we can do is support the assault here and start working our way towards the railway lines. Unless they are they're only sending one division in, so the second division is probably going to hold this, but we'll defend for now. We don't want to start getting involved in multiple battles. We'll defend for now and see if we can counterattack. And here we are making headway. We're almost broken through. I think we've got the Germans pushed out of the hills here. There we go, and immediate counterattack. But we will use the momentum, and the first armored division will push on south. Just keep an eye that nobody cuts us off, and then we have two Spanish division encircled. That would be the first time in this. There we go. That's the first time in this in this civil war that we have actually managed this. So. Let's destroy. They're being supplied, obviously, but let's see that we get rid of them as quickly as we can. Potential here for a counterattack against Skopje, so we'll get involved in that. And the design bureau, what am I using that for? That is rifles. Okay, so rifle equipment. We have gone with the increased soft attack. We can go for defense, or we can go for 5% reliability. Not necessarily feeling the 5% reliability. It's usually not a massive problem with rifles because you end up producing so many of them anyway. So the alternative would be to give 4 random divisions the experimental equipment medal. And the medal will grant plus 10% organization. I'm not sure if we can actually take this, given that we've... this requires... doesn't say that it requires anything. But alternatively, we can go for a 5% defense here. Because it resets the unit's organization to 0%, so I don't want that to happen to any of my currently engaged divisions. So I'm going to go with the defense here. Not upgrading that right now. and we'll pick that up. We'll pick that up for the next, because we've got a good amount of production going at this point. Are we? How far are we from? We've still a fair amount from the next rifles away. So at some point we'll pick that up. Construction's almost done. So counterattack in Bulgaria, and we will see if we can manage to dislodge that Spanish division here, and finish them off. And then we potentially have the south coast under control here. It's almost open because the Spanish haven't managed to redirect anybody yet. It is tempting to, I think I might actually leave the tank division here to it and use the other tank division to start clearing out the territory in the south here. Never mind, they have already reinforced. Okay, so we'll just... the French have reinforced. We'll move to Almira and secure the port. And construction 2 is finished, which is good, because that means we should be a little bit faster now. So what are we going to pick up next? That is too far ahead. That's still slightly ahead. Radio is still being researched. We're good on air. These are still slightly ahead of time, but I think getting the artillery, this one is done. This is still, the heavy tank series are still too far ahead, so the T100 is what we're going to go and produce at some point. But we do need to make a bit of progress here with the research. What are we using for what end up? Yeah, we use we use this one. So let's go with that. Research that, and we are using the Obukov Bureau, experimental all-around naval artillery guns. Okay, and slight artillery improvements here. So we have taken, we might be able to push them back here, but I don't want to overextend. So let's assist, yeah, we'll try. We'll see if we can take Granada actually, and potentially run in behind the Spanish lines here and cause a wider breakthrough. How is that looking in Skopje? Not great, despite that we are fighting 2 German divisions under Model. And unfortunately, the local troops are not actually helping. But we might be able to, we've pushed one out, we might be able to take on the second one as well. So if we can take Skopje and hold Skopje after that, that would be a significant breakthrough. So the Russian mountaineers going up against, right now it's just a Bulgarian division that's left. So we've managed to push the Germans out. We just have to manage to get through before they reinforce here. Let's keep an eye on the situation in Spain, because the French and the other troops have significantly reinforced this. But I think I think we might be able to exploit our breakthrough here, and will help. The other tank division is going to help with Cartagena. Counterattack here from the Bulgarians, but. It looks like we might be able to take Skopje unless they can reinforce in time. Okay, the other divisions have arrived. So we have the Greek volunteers and we have the Romanian volunteers. There we go. All right, the Athens Expeditionary Force. Let's see, do we have a field marshal around who can assist here? Who do we have actually currently still? I think, Denikin is the only one who's currently elsewhere engaged. So he can take, I will reassign him. He can assist with the Greek situation. And we will be deploying north. And we will be attempting to retake Thessalonica. And then we've got the Romanian volunteers as well. No field marshal around, so here really it's plugging holes really at this point. So let's begin with that, and goal would be to retake the lines here. So let's instantly begin the assault. I'm going to assign some shortcuts here, and then because we are going to have to start switching a little bit. All right, we are still trying to push the assault on Skopje through. That's running in the north, and troops here are deploying from Athens. We're going to give them some time to figure that out. So these are the two more important fights right now. The anarchists are holding Almera now, and we are destroying the Spanish situation now. The American Civil War has broken out by the looks of it. So let's check over here. Yeah, everyone has declared war on everyone else. Interestingly, the Combined Syndicates of America are not really holding the Eastern Seaboard. So that might be a relatively a possible one for MacArthur to actually hold this. In return, the Union States relatively powerful in the South. Now, do we have a particular preference for who wins this war? And we could send a division over, but there's really not an awful lot that one division is going to be able to achieve. You could say that in... okay, we'll have to address this. The Third International, we're strengthening them in Europe. That is not... and this might have been misunderstood. This is not because we are particularly in favor of the Third International. We are a constitutional monarchy and with democratic underpinnings. The current alliance with the Third International, which is a radical world revolutionary movement, is purely pure realpolitik. We are trying to strengthen the French, especially on the continent, in order to hold a stronger front against the Reichspakt, which would enable us to move through Eastern Europe more easily. So it is not in our interest that the Combined Syndicates of America win, because that would mean that the syndicalist movement will gain way too much influence. It is more in our interest that probably one of the other states wins. Do we have a specific moral duty to support anybody here? Not really. Honestly, we can probably just leave the American Civil War to its own devices, because the one division that we send in there is not going to make any difference whatsoever. But we could send a symbolic division. So let's have a quick look. So we've got the Pacific states. We're not particularly in favor of them. We're definitely not much in favor of MacArthur. And we're really not in favor of anybody else in this matter. So I think we'll leave that to its own devices for now, because we have Europe to deal with, and we have many divisions in many places in Europe at this point. So there is a relatively dramatic there are relatively dramatic breakthroughs here along the lines that we need to deal with. Otherwise, things are going to fall apart relatively quickly. We will see if Skopje will fall. We have taken the riverline positions near Pristina, but I think we're just short of the railway lines. So Skopje would not particularly be helpful on its own, because we can't actually get any supply to Skopje, but we can at least deprive them of the supply. So that would be something. All right, Spain. We've got a surprising amount of difficulty breaking through here. Sweden has joined the Reichspakt as well. Okay. First of all, we'll look at the Civil War. To those not in the know, it might seem like the crisis in the United States came out of nowhere, but experts agree that this was a civil war years in making. Since the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange in 1925, the economy of the United States has been sluggish and mired in deep recession. Now the United States has collapsed into an all-out civil war between the supporters of the federal government, the Combined Syndicates of America, the right-wing American Union State, and the remnants of democratic rule in the Pacific States of America. Volunteers are pouring in from around the world to support one faction or another, with some characterizing the bitter ideological conflict as simply part of a wider global clash of ideals. 12 world tension. And it has the positive effect that it kicks up the war support a little bit, so maybe we can finally get towards mobilization. But technically, the Pacific states would be the one, at least ideologically, that we'd be supporting. But yeah, I'm not sure how much of a difference it would make, and if they can eventually... They are holding Alaska, though. So that, yeah, maybe we will send a division to the Pacific states. What is the terrain here? Terrain mode. Most mountains in the north. Where would be a possible angle of attack here? Yeah, we probably have to send yet another mountaineer division over, because little supply and mostly mountainous terrain is not supportive for tank divisions. All right, do we still have a mountaineer division? We do. So that will be sent to the Pacific, we call it American Expeditionary Force. There we go. Who do we have around that we can employ here? I think nobody who is particularly specialized in the field. We will send. We could send Ungen Sternberg or Shatilov again. He was a combined arms expert. He'd actually be more suited towards tanks. But in the end, we could also send. Well, we're going to need a fair amount of infantry officers as well. But yeah, Ungen Sternberg, since we have him, we'll send him in. Okay, so we will ask the Pacific states if they would like to receive. 3. We can actually send. We can send 3 divisions over. Okay, interesting. In that case, we shall send. What else do we have? Mostly just infantry. We could send some tanks over, but tanks aren't really going to do anything. And we are already running a little low on the production here. We do have a few. Guards divisions, so we'll probably just add 2 guard divisions, and we will send those 3 over. Send volunteers, the American Expeditionary Force, and we will see if we can. Send any air support as well. So we'll be involved in yet another war. We're having a surprising amount of trouble breaking through the Spanish lines here. Mostly due to low supply, which is surprising, because we should have supply from the ports. I'm not sure we can actually break through to Granada with 1 tank division. If the rest of these guys would make any moves, that would be much appreciated. Okay, so for now, we'll finish off that last Spanish division here, but I think we will. Yeah, Madrid is getting surrounded, and the Carlists are breaking through in the north, so we do have to finish up here relatively quickly in order to secure the southern lines here, and then we still have to finish off Carlist Spain. Interestingly enough, the friendly troops are almost at Pamplona. So, what do you know? How is the attack on Skopje running? We are on our last legs here to break that, to push that Bulgarian division out. I'll see if we can make it in time. And yeah, the tanks are going to be needed here very, very soon in order to try and do something about the complete Romanian collapse in the north. And the division in Athens is still on the way. And Spain, this division is almost finished up, so we can redraw the front lines. Okay, there we go. Division has been finished. So let's redraw the front lines and get the tank division. Actually, we might do that from two positions. Get the tank division over here, and we'll have a new frontline command. There we go, and we need obviously both divisions on that. There we go. All right, so we'll wait for reinforcements here. and then we'll let our tanks regain their organization, and then we will launch a concentrated assault against Granada. And if we can take Granada, we will have supply in the area, and we will cut off the whole southern front from supply because there is nothing else. So Granada is going to be our next target, and then from there we might swoop north. It's not an ideal terrain for tanks to attack as it's all mountainous, but it's what we've got. It's the hand we've been dealt, so deal with it we shall. That is still a whiles off, but and that is getting progressively worse. The sheer amount of factories, yeah, because obviously trade swings are an issue here. But we'll see if we can take Skopje, and from there, no, they've reinforced. Okay, never mind. The Germans are back, I think, and we're not breaking that. Okay, so the Skopje attack has failed. We are throwing the tanks now against the Austrians, against the Austrian Empire, into the fray. Unfortunately, the air situation in Romania is very much not in our favor. Can we? Yeah, we can't deploy any of our own air force here. So not an awful lot we can do. The fighter division is running rapidly out of planes here over the southern Iberian air zone. We have shot down 2 fighters. So that's might not have been us, might have been the British or the French. But it looks like the Germans have a fair amount as well in the air now. So let's see. Well, we'll do what we can. For now, the tanks are just regaining a bit of their organization here, while the troops in Greece are moving into position, and we are trying to desperately plug the holes here in the north. So we need to, first of all, we need to destroy that. We need to push these guys back over the river. The problem is we're fighting under enemy aerial superiority, which makes that significantly more difficult than it needs to be. Skopje, not possible to assault there at this point. And division has arrived, so we will begin. We'll see if we can push into that weakened division and retake Thessalonica. That would be interesting. Do we have any supply lines going that way? Yes, that would be along the rail towards Thessalonica. So we could take out their southern supply here. And maybe we can make something happen on that front line. Okay, we are starting to take back a few positions here. So it looks like the Bulgarians have overstretched a little, and tanks are ready for the counterattack again towards Granada. We are defending in Almera in the south, but that means the Spanish troops here are now going to have to fight on 2 fronts, which means that we should be able to break through that without too much problems. Here, okay, tanks are moving up, and I think we are going to push them out and across the river, which should be more defensible. Once that's achieved, we're not going to follow up because they have pre-positioned troops here that are dug in. So we're not going to try and take the river crossing, but we are going to try and help out in the other side and see if we can retake that sector as well. Pristina, Skopje attack again, and we are breaking through here. We'll have to be careful not to get cut off. In Spain, okay, we have broken through here. Counterattack. Let's secure the southern flank of Granada and see if the tanks can push through and secure Granada. How is it looking in the US? I think the first moves have been made. Federal militias have been fighting sparse skirmishes with the Red Guard down the Hudson River. This morning, the palisades, both natural and man-made, fell from syndicate hands. Not long after after that, Manhattan Island was forced to capitulate, rather than risk the massive loss of life that urban warfare would bring. The syndicates have ordered the remainder of the Red Guard to transport the gold from the Federal Reserve Building to safety, leaving behind many financial workers imprisoned on Welfare Island. The whole of New York City is now under the control of the United States of America, and a massive relief effort is underway to assess the full scope of the damage the syndicates did to the city. It looks like the initial attacks from the Americans have actually been somewhat successful, but the syndicates are pushing through the eastern seaboard quite aggressively elsewhere. So no engagements yet on the Pacific side. We'll help there. We'll help out there when we can. But I think the American Union states pushing into MacArthur's territory as well. So still in the process of positioning. Granada, I think, is about to fall here, and then we can start moving north from there once we have secured the southern flank as well. So we'll just hold position in Granada on the supply hub until the supply lines are connected, and we can support the southern assault here. And now we just need to get the rest of them to actually follow up and secure secure the territory, lest the Spanish are retaking it. We'll see if anybody there has the foresight to do that. Okay, attack out of Skopje. We might be able. That's the Germans again. We might be able to counterattack once more. Okay, we have taken out. Let's pull the front line over. We have taken out the. Where's the other end? There we go. We have retaken the river positions. So let's see if we can manage to do the same on the other side of the river. Thessalonica is unfortunately relatively well defended, so we're not breaking through there that easily. But we'll hold position here for a bit, regain organization. This is quite perilous. But the southern position here is under assault, so we'll see if we can. We'll see if they secure that, and then we can. I don't think we can join that fight. No, we can't. We'll see if they secure that, and then we can move up. Here, I think we are good for now. Just have to keep an eye that the Spanish are not breaking through here. Counterattack once again into Skopje and see if we can push the exhausted defenders out. And we've got 3 divisions over in the States now. So we've got the American volunteers as well. All right. And where are we? In San Francisco. Okay. Supply lines. We are pushing south. There's an awful lot of nothing up in the north. Sorry, America. If you're watching from the US, supply-wise, this is no fun. So I think we'll join the fight in the south instead. Let's see if we can expand the territory of the democratic forces and push. Oh, what would be? No, that's not what I was asking you to do. I said frontline. There we go. We'll see if we can push eastwards and secure some territory here. We'll see what we do from there. Okay, Spanish volunteers. This looks reasonably safe. They are going to have to pull troops to support the lines here, but I don't want to push any further forward because it looks like the rest of our friendly volunteers from all over the world have better things to do than actually secure the lines here. So we'll leave that to its own devices. This is ongoing, so we'll stay where we are. And okay, we are getting counterattacked here, but once that's through, we move over to Galati. Tibet and the Marklik have okay, those wars have ended. Let's have a quick look. Mongolia. Oh, the Marklik seems to have lost a fair amount of territory during that quick little war. So that's one thing. How many American volunteers? Where am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's number 6 already. Alright, so I can hop over very quickly. These are going to need a railroad over, otherwise it's never going to happen. Spain looks okay. And yet another assault, possible assault onto Skopje, just to deprive them. Okay, they have secured the lines here now. Unfortunately, we can't assault from here. We could break out further north, but I am more interested in taking Thessaloniki, because that'll deprive, should deprive most of the enemy troops here of supply. But unfortunately, they are relatively well dug in there. So we'll wait until the organization has returned. This is still waiting. Okay, so we're fighting mostly. Okay, that's relatively clear. We're fighting mostly in Skopje at this point. Let's see if we can push the exhausted 111th Infantry Division out of their positions again in the city, and then take on the. We are getting potentially some support from the locals. That would be much appreciated. But the Mountaineers are struggling to get through there. I think yeah, the Germans have been defeated. Hawaii has joined the Entente. Okay, that's new. We are getting counterattacked here in Granada now, so we are going to stop with the assistance, and we'll just try to defeat that counterattack. And democracy prevails in the Philippines. Having just achieved independence from the United States, the Philippines face today perhaps one of the most serious challenges any new country could face. Inspired by the combined syndicates of America and the Commune, disgruntled army officers marched on Manila to support the rebelling peasants and workers. Their attempt was quickly thwarted as loyalist unit in the army reaffirmed their support for and intervened in favor of the legitimate democratic Filipino government and drove the rebellious army out of the capital, ending the threat of the syndicalist coup before it could even hatch. That is good news. So the Philippines are now or remain democratic. So we will see how that ends. Troops here moving into position. We are expanding our territory here, so looks like Phoenix could be on the map for the taking. Have to keep a little bit of an eye in Spain here, but we are securing the southern flank. So even if the position east of Granada might get overrun, things should I think they are securing that. Okay, so that breakthrough, Madrid's getting encircled. The Germans are holding it feverishly. Madrid is getting encircled. Can we launch another assault on Thessaloniki? I think we can. Tanks in the north are still defending. And the assault on Skopje is going. Yeah, we've pushed the Germans out, and we're now getting some support from the Serbian troops behind us. So we might be able to take Skopje here. And yeah, I think the attack on, how's this looking? No, we're not going to be able to take the Thessaloniki. The problem is just the terrain. The Mountaineers are not going to be great in urban territory. So I think we'll abandon that attempt, and we'll just hold position here for now. In the north, we could break out further north, but then we'd run risk of being cut off. But we'll save that for future efforts. So for now, back to Spain, where we now have some. Okay, we've got some infantry now helping out in Granada, which means that the Spanish assaults should be defeated, and we might be able to eventually move out from there and see. And we are pushing further south to secure the southern flank, so that's all good. Skopje might fall at this point. There's only one Bulgarian division left. Okay, and they are okay. Galiti has fallen actually, so we may have to. We'll see. I think it's going to be retaken very quickly, and then we can push south from there. So I think that's going to be all right, and that Romanian division should be able to hold these feverish Ukrainian counterattacks against the lines here. Okay, so lines south of Granada are secured, and we have an opportunity now to move north. So let's reduce the lines here. All right, we do have an opportunity here to potentially cut off a German division north of Granada. So let's launch an attack here. And we'll see if we can get there before the Germans get actually pushed back. And there we go. And we'll see 3 divisions here, 1 Austrian and 2 Spanish divisions. We'll see if we can manage to extract them there. They are relatively exhausted from the fighting already. Finished in 1914, the Panama Canal is one of the most important trade passageways on the American continent, controlled by the United States until now. With the outbreak of the Second American Civil War, the federal government was forced to withdraw the canal's marine forces, leaving it open to invasion, and to little surprise, Panamanian troops launched an operation to take back such a valuable area. This move, however, was opposed by Canada, which presented to them an ultimatum. Panama would immediately cease their invasion, while the Entente would safeguard the canal for the time being. In the face of Canadian pressure, the small Latin American nation has backed down, diffusing the crisis. Okay, so Canada now controls the Panama Canal, while the Americans are figuring out what they want to be, really. Okay, it looks like the lines here are pretty wide open, so we are going to, let's see, what's our immediate goal? We're going to move north into Arizona, probably. And taking Phoenix and Tucson in the south would be good moves as well. So let's get the Mountaineers to move south. And I'm going to send a 2nd Infantry Division to hold the positions here. And the other one will send it east and then along the lines north, depending on where we actually encounter resistance here. It looks like... How's it looks on the East Coast? Yeah, New York City is going to be retaken probably. And it looks like the syndicates are massively overrunning MacArthur's forces. So this could turn into an interesting end to things here. Okay, Skopje situation. Unfortunately, the 111th has reinforced again. But we'll maintain the pressure and see if we can... they are running counterattacks here as well. We'll maintain pressure and see if we can manage to break through. Positions here, if they are securing the lines in the south, I do have to be careful that we're not getting cut off. If they're securing the lines in the south here, then we can also potentially push further north. Unfortunately, from here on, I can't support this attack. But we are now pushing into Galati across the river, which is less than ideal, but there are exhausted troops over there. And I think once we've reached that territory, we are literally just going to stay here for now and defend this position against the significant counterattacks. Okay, improved machine tools are done, which means our production lines should be getting a slightly higher production efficiency cap. All right. Do we still need to do industrial research, or do we have other things right now that need doing? These are still all ahead of time. I might have to start doing the field hospitals already, because we are going to need, and we need this as well at some point. But we could rush ahead a bit with the computing machine for research speed, or the basic armor protection, because yeah, we might have to get started with that. All right, which one are we using currently? We are using the Potilovets. So that's what we're going to be doing. Heavy armor protection. All right. How's the experimental facility looking? We are making land breakthrough. I'm mostly keen on the. We need a breakthrough point, but the first one I'm probably going to go with is the flamethrower tank, simply because they are so useful. This one is also very interesting. For a super heavy howitzer, military engineering vehicles, armored support. There's a lot of stuff that we can do here, but we will get there. Okay, we've got some unassigned divisions. We've got a new mountain division that has completed. We are. I'm just going to put them in there for now, and they can just finish their training. We are defending here, and the assault on Skopje looks like it. Our Mountaineer division is at this point exhausted. So if the friendly troops are not able to carry the day here against the defenders, the 111th Infantry is going to be a problem, though. So we will see. They seem to have abandoned our positions in the east of Pristina again. Where are they sending their troops to? My gosh. Anyway, we'll see if we can break this. But new Russian capitalism has finished. Alright. So, a 10% resource gain efficiency, minus 15% consumer goods, and 5% construction speed. Yes, please. So we should be seeing more factories now coming in. Actually, might have to take over, okay, we've also reduced the ones from trade. Anyway, so that was useful. And now let's get back to how far away are we from things. That's 140 days away. So once that's finishing, that's going to tick that up. 264 days promise of work. We need 150 factories. I am doubtful that we're going to make that. At this point, we might have to, add 264 days. I think 150 days was the cutoff. I'm not sure we're going to make the 150 factories in the time. So we do have still these. We still have these. These also bring in some decisions, which probably there's a research bonus, a free civilian factory, and this one gives a couple more research bonuses. So I think we'll do this one, and then probably the third Europe. We might go down this route as well, because there's some war support here. So that would be important. And this one is very powerful. So 5% stability, 6% research speed, and daily market liberal support. That is also useful. And 10% technology sharing bonus. So that's also quite powerful. Anyway, we still have to do the rural outreach, which also gives us 8% stability and 4% war support. But I think for now would modernize the Trans-Siberian Railway, because that's the prerequisite for the promise of work, which needs these three focuses. So Siberian development, Ural program, and developer heartland. So let's unlock this just to get our head a little ahead of ourselves here. Economic focus. Attack on Skopje is still running. Tanks have held Galati, and we get ready for a push south. And we're still working on the Greek situation. How is Spain? We are going to need to support the push north, try to cut off the Germans, and where are we? There we go. There's the Americans. We're about to encircle an American tank division here. By the looks of it, we are outmaneuvering them quite easily. So let's cut them off from Tucson, and we'll leave the 8th Guard in Phoenix for now, and we'll see. Yeah, there are very few divisions here. How's the East Coast is falling under syndicalist control. Unfortunately, most of the industry is over there. So we will see. We'll see how that ends up going. But we'll have to take as much territory as we possibly can in order to secure the line of supply positions here. Probably like the Denver line would be a good line of supply positions to hold, because from there on out, that's sort of the front line that we want to hold. So this sort of line here. So let's work on pushing that way. Meanwhile, Spain, we're going to get another tank division in there. Trying to... why are we attacking across... Where's the river? There's no river here. Why are we attacking across a river line? I am unsure. Anyway, 2 tank divisions trying to encircle that German division here. Let's see if we can break through that. Attack on Skopje is still running, although there is a counterattack towards Pristina going on. So at some point, I think we will have to focus on the defense for now in Pristina, and then regain some organization, and then we will try that all again. At some point, Skopje might fall. In the north, tank division is regaining some organization, so that's good. And then here we have managed to encircle the mechanized cavalry force, apparently all of it. So let's Let's destroy that. In fact, we are going to just assist from Tucson. How is the supply? Yeah, supply situation should be good. We are clearing out the supply lines, there, and we are moving north into rural Arizona. And from there on, I think we can start making some progress towards the line that we're eventually trying to hold here. Back to Spain, where we are furiously fighting off counterattacks near Granada, but also trying to... Madrid's still holding. The Germans are still holding in Madrid, but it looks like the Spanish are now making serious breakthroughs along the lines here. And I think we will have the anarchists in Spain in power here within a reasonable time frame. Is that going to come back to bite us? Is this going to come back to bite us at some point? Maybe. We will see. Meanwhile, at home, General Boldyrev's plea. General Boldyrev's coup attempt against the Republic when the SRS was rising to power is still in recent memory. He, like many other officers, was purged and had fled to Berlin to escape Savinkovist persecution. So he was trying to run a coup against Savinkov. Okay, but today it seems that Boldyrev had a point. After all, it was the army who restored democracy in the face of Savinkovist tyranny and the near collapsing state after his death, and he was right to fear the dictatorship that the Vozhd planned. Today, he has come to us stating that he wishes to rejoin the armed forces. Many have sympathies for Boldyrev. He was surely ahead of his time, but he has seemingly been courteous with the Germans. And as much as his intent was to bring down Savinkov, such behavior is rather suspect. What should we do? So we can either get him back, we can get Boldyrev back, and he joins the Russian Empire, becomes the Chief of Air Force, experience gain, air superiority, and 2% for social liberalism. That would be useful. Or we tell him to bugger off. I honestly think, look, he lived in Germany. Of course, he was working, or he had to deal with the locals, right? I think he has done the right thing for the motherland, trying to take down Savinkov, and as such, I don't see any problem with reinstating him and in honors, rather than having, because the alternative, if we tell him to go to hell, he's going to work with the Germans. So that's not something we want. We do have to keep a bit of an eye on him probably, but let's get him back, because that means I get a free chief of... I'm supposed to be getting a free chief of Air Force, but that seems not to have happened. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. And I also haven't seen a 3% increase in party popularity. So, well, okay then. We have him back. Maybe he was available as Chief of Air Force instead of becoming Chief of Air Force, as the game suggested. But we will see how this works. Okay, Thessalonica seems to have been evacuated. So let's take it. And we have held Pristina in the north, but we are now... have once again an opportunity here to potentially cut off a German division. So let's keep a close eye on that. That tank division is defending itself rather well, and we are not able to break their through their armor. So we might need some assistance there, but the second guards are almost at the supply point in the north. The question is, from where do we go from there? We might just clear out the southern region further, all the way up to New Mexico, if there is nobody else to stop us while we're dealing with that situation. We are breaking through the positions here, and that might cost the Germans an infantry division, and that would be a great victory. There's still the attack running on Skopje, but the 59th Mountaineers do need to rest at this point. We have taken Thessaloniki, so that should deprive them of supply in the south. So if we can take, especially if we can take Skopje, then this whole basically this whole salient falls. So maybe we are going to. The 111th is still sitting there. They're running force attacks, so maybe we are going to throw our lot in with the last infantry division here that is fighting. See if we can manage to break the Germans. We are once that counterattack, and they have broken across the river again, of course. Once that counterattack has been defeated, we are going to join the assault here and see if we can. Okay. This is getting tricky. Okay, we'll run the assault here and see if we can destroy that German division. This is okay. The Germans have escaped, I think. So unfortunately, yeah, the Germans seem to have escaped. We were not able to cut off and destroy them. Obviously, that division here has gotten themselves cut off because they have been way too ambitious in moving out. Which means we are once again fighting a. We are once again going to be fighting a more regular battle. Maybe instead of closing the maybe we can still cut them off before they manage to retreat. Let's see if we can get there before they retreat. No, they've managed to get there. That is unfortunately 9th Infantry has just made it out. But will be pushed further out now. So at that point, I may actually send one armored division north already, and expand the territory there. We are, yeah, we might be able to push towards Malaga, destroy another Spanish group of Spanish rebels there in the south as the next. But unfortunately, we have not managed to destroy or to catch the German infantry divisions that have caused us so much trouble here. How is the situation looking in Skopje? Yeah, this is not going to happen. 111th is holding that. Okay, let's abandon this assault once more. We're still absolutely trying to break through things here, and in the Americas, that tank armored division should be encircled, but it isn't. Usual troubles again. So, well, in that case, friendly troops are coming in. So I think what we will do, because that supply hub should get connected by itself. So what we'll do is we will literally just push forwards towards the next supply position and just secure it as we go, because there seem to be rather few enemy troops around. So we will take a close look. But in Spain, it looks like Madrid has fallen. And it has fallen to the Carlists, unfortunately. Reports from Madrid confirm that the Spanish city has been captured with advancing Carlist troops after long, merciless fighting through the hilly terrain and the old city. Spanish forces put up stiff resistance, actually the Germans did, hoping to delay the Carlist forces for as long as possible, but were eventually beaten back. Official reports indicate that, though looting has been widespread, monuments and noteworthy buildings have been entirely spared. The fall of their capital, it is expected for the Kingdom of Spain to surrender soon, despite calls for merciless resistance from Spanish generals. So that will be interesting. How far along is Spain? Where's the civil war? No, it's against Carlist Spain. Where's second Carlist civil war? Kingdom of Spain, 58%. Not yet. Not yet, Kameraden. Not yet. Okay, so that means we have still further ways to go. I don't want to overstretch our tank forces here, so instead we'll try to see if we can. No, they are relatively well dug in down there in the mountains. Tanks are entirely the wrong kind of vehicle to do this. It would be more interesting to break out from here, but there is also not an awful lot we can do. One thing I need to do that I forgot is these need to get proper motorization. Okay. Alright, so that's the thing that needs to happen. And how does it look over here? We are holding Thessalonica against counterattacks, but the attack on Skopje has once again failed due to the German divisions that have been causing us trouble. However, the Serbians have managed to break through the river here in the east, by the looks of it. So I do wonder if the continued attacks on Skopje are actually fruitful, or if we should support the assault in the east here instead. This is entirely undefended as well. There is an opportunity here to encircle some Germans again. So maybe we should extend our front line, move our front line over, and see if we can secure the river positions. Of course, instant counterattack out of Skopje. We might once again have an opportunity here, because this is the 111th that is attacking. So if that one gets itself exhausted, that might be beneficial. We are just holding positions here in the south of Spain. With that, we do need the friendly divisions to make some moves here in the north in order to potentially collapse anything. But we also need to get out of this mountainous terrain. So here, this is still hilly. Out into the open plains would be great. But fighting south in the mountains is not something we're particularly good at. Okay, we'll let this attack continue here. Quick look at the Americas. We are making progress, and friendly troops are starting to trickle in. I think MacArthur's remaining United States are collapsing relatively quickly here. So let's secure the lines as quickly as we can and get ahead of everybody else. And here we do have to... where's my tank division? Where is my tank division? Oh, there it is. Yes, that's actually us. We have managed to... Okay, I'm going to have to clear the front lines here. We have managed to encircle the German division. Okay, let's destroy it. That would be the first German division, the 52nd Infantry Division under Kurt Haase. That is going to go down. That will be an important victory. And then we will see if we can... It would actually be ideal if we could deal with the Ukrainians in the north, but unfortunately they can retreat, and I think instead we'll clear the southern lines a bit more. We almost held the German attack out of Skopje and potentially counterattack there. I think Thessaloniki will just hold for now, and it will just dig in and hold at this point. A major newspaper, People's Cause, published a lengthy interview with General Douglas MacArthur titled The American Kolchak. The interview goes in depth into the American situation, followed closely by Russian audiences with a mix of pity and horror. Will the Americans have to go through the same trial of blood and fire that the Russians had? How many will be murdered by the American Chekists? Much of the publicity is focused on the American whites, a term that obviously carries a very different meaning in American politics. The article popularized the idea of MacArthur as the savior of America, a man with a pinch of Kolchak and Kornilov in his vein, a stern military man able to make the decisions that weak politicians were not able to make. Some Russian publications idolize Huey Long too, perhaps even comparing him favorably to Savinkov, but the overall consensus seems to be that MacArthur's government is the legitimate one and deserves the support of the Russians, both from the citizens and the government. About that. No, we are not supporting MacArthur, because I think what the people here are overlooking is that MacArthur is very much not looking to restore the United States of America. It's always difficult to see this from another perspective, but he's not necessarily trying to restore it. He is trying to install himself. His ambitions are grand, let me put it that way, and as such, we're going to have to defend here. And as such, And such men usually don't want to give up power once they have reached it. So the Pacific states, in my opinion, are the actual the social liberal progressive Democrats are the actual future for a free world, rather than a potential Savinkovist dictator like MacArthur. Now, the newspapers and the publications might see this differently, and that sounded like a very left-leaning publication as well. But that's what we're rolling with for now. We are defending the counterattack in Skopje and instantly fight back again. See if we can push the 111th out, and now it's just the Romanians again against us. In the north, we are destroying a German tank division, and here we're just holding, and that means we just have to look at the Americas, where we're almost done destroying destroying this tank division here. And then from there on out, we can work on expanding our territory. That is some militia that is rolling in here, but I think the Pacific states, we'll see how the Pacific states are going to fare. Interestingly enough, the Japanese are supporting the Pacific states as well, and we shall see how that all ends up going. But I don't see a future for MacArthur in this kind of. There's also, even if he was politically, the leader that we would most favor, which he isn't, there would not necessarily be a chance actually for him to fight back against the combined union and syndicates that easily. So no, the Pacific states are going to be supported for now, for a free and liberal democratic America. Okay. Do we have any opportunities here to do things in Spain? I think we'll support the assault here for now, just to push these Spanish troops out and consolidate the front line a little bit. And I think the counterattack into Skopje once again is not going to work. So. Definitely trouble here, and we don't have enough Greek troops to expand out of Thessaloniki. In fact, they don't even have enough troops to hold their own front lines here. That is a bit of an issue. So, not an awful lot we can do here to move ahead in this war. A bit of a stalemate. In Peru, the Peru-Bolivian Confederation has been restored. Let's see what's going on in South America. All right, the Peru-Bolivian Confederation, that is authoritarian Democrat. Well, at least they're democratic. It appears that an old idea has been reborn in South America. The original confederation between Peru and Bolivia, viewed by its many regional enemies as a potential threat, was torn asunder by the victorious Chile after the Battle of Yungay in 1839. Still, this new confederation could, unlike its predecessors, prove able to sustain itself in these unstable times in South America and the wider world. Observers, both overseas and domestic, have noted, however, that there are a number of key issues that must be worked out between La Paz and Lima before this new polity can truly be called a united nation. Well, if there's anything going on against Argentina, we might join, given the potential German support for Argentina. Here, okay, the enemy's troops are starting to hold lines here. So all the way across to Santa Fe, we will probably not be pushing. Instead, we'll wait for additional divisions to arrive. We have destroyed that tank division by the looks of it. So let's make headway in the south. We could try to reach El Paso actually. But I think instead we'll clear out the enemy lines here first. These have just been railroaded in. We could push out, but the problem is that we could get easily cut off without support. No, we'll wait for now, and we'll just get the divisions to move on. In Spain, we're still struggling to clear the. Okay, it looks like we're getting pushed back in the north. Actually, this is not good. We need to get a move on in Spain here. We need to finish off the southern positions. These two Spanish divisions here in the hills are causing us all manner of grief. How's the air situation? Southern Iberia. Not great. There are enemy planes in the air from all sides by the looks of it. Okay, but yeah, no green air for anybody. What's our next potential move here to finish this off in southern Spain? We would need to get them to capitulate. Sevilla would be the obvious target. I think what we could try to take Malaga behind their backs here. This is somewhat risky, but they're all sort of engaged at the moment. If the rest of these lazy buggers could, the French could do something useful. We'll try to. I would like the salient to be closed, however, before we make any further moves. There's still German, because we've got German divisions and an Austrian Alpenjäger division in the north here. So I really don't want to start moving out with the tanks unless we've sort of cleared the southern region here. So I think we'll finish this off, and then we'll try to clear the south coast. Unfortunately, it'll have to go slowly at this point. Attack into Skopje. Probably not going to be successful, I think. Yeah, that isn't going to happen. Okay, so we are going to have to stay that assault, and here we are finishing off the. Okay, we might be able to cut off the Ukrainians there. Okay, we have finished off the German division, and we'll retake that position, and then we'll reinforce the. And then we'll try to push them back across the river again. Okay, Bucharest is now coming under attack as well. It looks like we might actually have to just hold here against the ferocious enemy assaults. But that was the first. Yeah, 10,000 Germans have surrendered, and hopefully the Romanian troops can now actually start getting onto the front lines rather than walking around in the hinterland. That would be much appreciated. So we will. How's the planning actually on this? Minimal at this point. Okay, we'll stay in position here for now. We will see if we can. In fact, we might actually try. We might try something in the north. How's the supply in this? This should be connected at some point. Why is this no? This should have a supply connection here, unless that is still under construction. We could try to see if we can encircle the Germans here in the north and wear them off, because I don't see how we're getting out anywhere else. Okay, let's redeploy to Nish and see if we can make a difference there. Because everything else is a bit of a stalemate at this point, and the Greeks seem to be very much out of things. Do we have infantry equipment? We're still short as well. We do have a bit of artillery laying around at this point, but we're also short still on infantry equipment, so we can't really send an awful lot there. Let's see if we can send them. We can send them at least a bit of. We have a few artillery guns. Let's send them like 50 artillery guns once. Hopefully that can help them a little bit here, because they are very, very low on equipment by the looks of it. Okay, American situation. Here, okay, we are starting to see actually. We are starting to see front lines stabilizing here. This would be too risky to move out still. Here we are just going to move into position, and here we are just going to move south and see if we can maybe cut off and destroy some of the American divisions here and see that we make some progress in the Pacific area. And things are coming to a head in Central Asia as well. A muted response from Bukhara. While Bukhara is technically recognized as an independent nation with its own protected sovereignty and domestic policy, the truth is that it is firmly within the Russian sphere, bound by treaties of alliance and friendship and monitored by a veritable cadre of Russian advisors and agents. These emissaries of Russian rule are integral to the maintenance of the Bukharan state, But it is equally true that their loyalties lie squarely with Moscow and that they monitor their hosts closely for any signs of independent-minded ambition. Our recent reports from our agents in Bukhara have streamed in as normal, detailing anti-bandit campaigns in the countryside, hostile troop movements on the Turkestan and Afghanistan borders, and demonstrations in the city of Samarkand. However, there are some worrying signs within. Notes that the reporting advisor was not invited to a response meeting, vague allusions to increased influence of anti-Russian figures within the court, and some typical reports outright missing. It appears that while there have been no serious moves to undercut our control, the Bukharans are purposefully boxing out our levels of power within their government. Of course, we cannot exactly invade our ally because our feelings are hurt, but we can begin preparing a response just in case the situation escalates. Bukhara has temporarily slipped out of our grasp. Okay. That is concerning indeed. We might need some troops on the borders here. What is the supply situation in the region? I would say overall... hang on, where are the borderlines? So that's the Turkestan, that's Khiva, and there is... we've got some supply in the region, so I think we will probably be deploying an infantry army to their doorstep. And we do have the who do we actually? We could send the second army, which is not complete, but is getting additional divisions. So once these are completing, they will be joining the second army. And that means we can probably deploy the second. We can deploy the second here. Let's see what that looks like. Although probably supply is going to be insufficient. So maybe we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 divisions and deploy them along the lines here. With a potential start wargaming a plan to take over bordering states, and the rest of them will be deployed along the northern line, the Turkestan Republic, and there we go. And we will see if there is any unrest starting in the region that will need our attention. We can always send additional armies in. So this would be the second army under Pepelyayev, and we'll deploy them there. Air Force assets. We are slowly building the KHAI-5 close air support planes, but it is very slow going, mostly because of the lack of rubber, but I don't want to improve that just yet. Do we have actually any airports in the region? That would be a negative. So we're not... Astrakhan would be the closest airport, but there's no way we're actually sending... we're not actually sending Air Force or aircraft over. So, all right, that'll have to be it. We are massively struggling to evict these Spanish infantry divisions out here. We are at this point also running a little short on light tanks, really. Have I prioritized reinforcements? I have. And we are getting counterattacked here in the north as well, so we're going to have to defend that as well for now. Honestly, we'll leave this be, I think, and we will redeploy. We'll leave this to the Allied troops who are doing absolutely nothing in the north, and we will try to a focused attack on securing the Mediterranean coast, work our way towards Malaga, and see if we can achieve breakthroughs here that would allow us to clear the south coast, probably take Sevilla, and secure our positions there, because the northern lines here don't look good. They have been pushed back quite significantly. So I don't want to redeploy there at this point. But look at the front lines; they're completely open. while the Allied troops are concentrating here and doing absolutely nothing, it goes to show that the syndicalist doctrine is still very much behind, because they need to wait for a command from their higher ups for every action that they're taking. Okay, so here we are just defending. I think the next action here is going to be to try and clear out the that's not what I wanted. Try to clear out the river positions. So let's see if we can manage to push the Bulgarians back south. And an interesting one would be to break through towards Constanza and cut the whole north off and destroy that. That's probably what we'll try to do. So if we can manage to get closer to the river, and we can get the Romanian troops actually onto the border, onto the front lines, rather than where are they going? I have no idea. Running around in the rear. Still counterattacks here, and we are going to plan a new offensive. Skopje we will not pursue further, but we are going to plan a new offensive to see if we can manage to cut off another German division and wipe these out. And in the States, we are making our way through enemy positions here, and we will see if we can maybe we can manage to get the mountain divisions to run past behind enemy lines, take Santa Fe, and encircle these two American divisions. That would be that's what we'll aim for. We'll see if we can manage that. And that infantry division needs to reorganize a bit. Okay, so the actual last democratic holdout in the United States is under Russian support. We will see how things go, and we will we will move along on the home front, modernizing the Trans-Siberian Railway, because that's an issue. And we've still got 125 days. We've got 33 days left on the press censorship campaign to finish, and we definitely need to start working. We can actually support. We could send infantry equipment to the Pacific states, but we have none, because we are still actually training additional divisions at home. So a situation at home slightly stabilizing. Economic construction starting to pick up a little bit now. Economic situation getting slightly better, and but it is already April 1937. So if we are planning any kind of action against the Reichspakt, we're having a lot of work to do. We can. Last thing I'm going to look at today. I'm not going to get the division command. Eventually, we might get static warfare, but I'm more interested at this point to get probably the trench warfare. It'd be nice to get. What theorists do we have? We have a victory through fire. That's strategic. That's an air doctrine, and he would be. That's just generally firepower proponent. Land doctrine cost minus 15%, and a couple of other useful things. But we have to complete science of victory, which is probably somewhere in the army tree. Yeah, there it is. So that would be something we need to do. And it gives us a cost reduction land doctrine, also good to have. All right, we'll bank up the army experience for now towards doctrines. And or we might. One thing I'm considering is to add a line artillery to the mountaineers, because we have a lot of mountain divisions deployed, and it would really improve the amount of firepower that they're bringing along. But 25 army experience is painful. we might do it if there's a lull in fighting at this point. All right, that's it from me today. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode, where the Reichspakt has expanded north, the Third International potentially gaining Spain, and Central Europe still very much up for grabs, and potentially more trouble starting in Central Asia.